everybody. How are my stitching friends doing today? I hope you're doing great. I thought I would do a stitch with me video today, so I thought I would just turn the camera on me real quick and say hello and good morning. I'm wearing my Teresa Kogut shirt today. Create every day. I love that. And things are going well. I thought I would put the camera on my stitching today instead of me talking, and that way when you look up you'll see what I'm working on. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a great day or evening whenever you watch this, and let's get stitching. All right. And you know, move forward, not backwards. Just do what you gotta do, right? It's about almost 7:30 in the morning on Monday. And as I was telling you yesterday, this week is going to be kind of crazy. I'm attending summer school end of the week, and because of that, the attic, Jean Lee, she's assigning shopping days at different times by appointment. So my shopping day, she's having people who are local here in the valley. Someone had asked what the valley was, and I'm referring to Mesa, Arizona, the Phoenix metropolitan area. We call it the valley. So she's having people who live local come before the retreat starts, or the summer school retreat starts this weekend. So my shopping day is going to be on Wednesday. And I had asked her because she has some special stuff going to be in stock for attendees to the summer school event, and she said she'll have it all up and ready. So that will be interesting and fun. So I'm going to go Wednesday and do some shopping, and try not to spend too much money, of course, because I really don't need anything else right now. I have so much. I start feeling really guilty with all my patterns that I have. Maybe I'll just try to look maybe I'll try to figure out a pattern that I would like to have the called for floss on, and just maybe look for some of the called for floss. Plus, sometimes I think you can take a look at a pattern, and if it's something that doesn't show the variegation, like it's not a large area, just use, you know, DMC or these silky petite, cotton petite threads. And then if it's like a big area where you would want the variegation, then maybe get the called for, excuse me, get the called for fancy floss. So maybe I'll take a look at a couple of patterns and see which one I would like to have maybe some floss for. Maybe look at some fabrics. I'm thinking of going up in count. I really like 28 count, but I know that it makes your project a lot larger. Seems like a lot of designers designed for a smaller count, which is still confusing to me. Like, I don't understand the whole, how many, like on 40 count, do you always go over two threads with one floss? Unless a designer charts it 1/1. Same with 32 or 36 count. Is that always over 2 threads of fabric? I don't really know how that works. So it seems like when I hear people talk, that's what they do. They go over 2 threads, but I don't know. So I need to figure that out. But I like 28 count. Seems to be a little cheaper. I hope you can't see my fingernail polish. They're a little chipped. I was like, if I don't do this Stitch With Me video right away, I probably won't get to it at all this week. And I missed last week. I wanted to try to do a Stitch With Me video every week. And I know I missed last week, so I thought I'm going to just try to do one today. Because I want to do some stitching today. This morning before the day gets going crazy. I still haven't like gone through my closet like I want to like declutter and get rid of stuff. I told my husband yesterday I wanted to do that today. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. Mom and Dad yesterday, and they got their house all painted. My brother came up with this paint sprayer, and my sister and her husband went up and painted trim, and I saw a few pictures. Looks a lot better. And I stitched last night on this Halloween Rules for about 3 hours and watched FlossTube and watched Pam and Steph, and I'm trying to find some new FlossTubers to watch to add to my list. I haven't found any good movies or series I want to watch, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Some good stitching series to stitch to, because I like to have the TV on. I finally got a TV in here, and I love my stitching room so much. It's so much fun. My throat is not cooperating. I have allergies, so maybe morning stitching isn't the best time of day for me. My back of my fabric, messy. I don't get all worked up about the back of my fabric. I wish it was beautiful, like some of your fabrics and projects, but I just don't have the skill, I guess, yet. The skill level yet to do that. So I grew up here in Arizona, and back in the day, it seems like none of our houses ever had air conditioning. We always had swamp coolers, which don't work here. They don't cool your house off here, only a little bit, only for like a few weeks, and then most of the summer they don't even work. We didn't have air conditioning in our cars. We used to roll down the window, which was like having an oven blow in your face. I don't know how we survived. I don't know how we survived growing up here with the heat. We lived in California for a little while. We lived in San Jose, California. And I got a knot right off the bat. And we lived there for a while. I don't have very fond memories of living there. I remember having to walk or ride my bike to school, and I just remember being chased home by bullies. So that wasn't fun. That's my only memory of California I have. It's funny how that is. I'm sure it wasn't that bad all the time, but. And then we moved back to Arizona. That was when I was younger that we lived there. And grew up mainly here in Arizona, mainly in the east side, Mesa area. We moved a lot. We moved houses a lot. Um, Into my junior year, we moved to Utah and we lived in a house in Mapleton, Springville, and then Salt Lake. So in the matter of 2, 3 years, we lived in 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. That kind of gives you an example how many times we moved. And nope, we weren't military either. So, yeah, just for whatever reason, we just move. So that was kind of hard. But we lived in Utah, and I did not like it because I was so cold. I could not get used to the snow. So then after high school, I moved out of to St. George, Utah, which is on the border. Trying to make my way back to Arizona. My sister lived there. So I moved to St. George, Utah, and went to college for a couple of years. At least it didn't really snow there too much. And that's where I met my husband at Dixie College. And then we got engaged there, and I asked him, I said, how do you feel about Arizona? He goes, I like it there. And he had been to Arizona a couple of times and visited a friend. He had a friend that lived here. And so I said, that's where I want to live. I want to move back there. So after we got married, my whole family actually decided to move back to Arizona. So we all moved back to Arizona. We moved to Maryville, Phoenix area. And all moved into one house and had a lawn service business. The guys all did a lawn service business with my dad just so we could have jobs like right away. And so they did that for a while. And then eventually we all started moving out on our own. And I had my daughter back then. And so we lived in Arizona until 1999. That was back in 1992. We moved back to Arizona. And then in 1999, we decided to move to the islands by Toy's family. We moved back to American Samoa. And he was going to try to go back to school. And we had 2 kids by then. We had my son Hunter and Gabrielle. Hunter was like 2 years old. And so we thought, we'll give it a try. We'll move to the islands and live on his family land. And there's a college over there. He could go to school. And then eventually we thought, we'll move to Hawaii after that. And he could do more schooling there. And so we moved. And boy, was that rough. That was so hard to live over there. Because I didn't speak the language. And even though everyone spoke, mostly everyone spoke English, they mainly would speak Samoan and then translate. And so it's kind of like you still feel left out. You feel like you're left out of the conversation when that happens. So it was a good experience though for me to move there because it really helped give me perspective on my husband and the culture and traditions there and how he was raised and how and why he did the things he did, because you see firsthand the culture and the how the people are. And so um, I find it easier stitching right to left. So I always, when I'm working a long row, I'll flip my fabric upside down so I can work that direction, and then I'll flip it back. But it was so great fun to go like snorkeling in the ocean there. Oh my goodness! The first time I went snorkeling, I was standing in the water, and the water was really clear, and I'm looking down, and I don't see anything. And then as soon as I put my goggles on and went underwater, it's like, oh my goodness, schools of beautiful, bright colored fish and eels and all kinds of stuff swimming around me. And it's like, I don't know how I couldn't see it standing above the water. I was so scared at first. I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to run out of the water or if I wanted to stay there and enjoy it, because it kind of freaked me out. I was like, wow. But it was so cool. They have these bright blue starfish. Oh, they're gorgeous. I mean, bright, dark blue starfish. I didn't know starfish came in those colors. I saw an eel swimming by, and that was freaky. And so that was my favorite part of living there, was going to the ocean. All the roads, like you have one side of the road was ocean, and the other side of the road was the island and town and houses. So it was different being on an island after living in the desert my whole life in Arizona. And it used to rain every day. It would sprinkle, mist, rain almost every single day, several times a day. And so you kind of just got used to that. And people ride in the back of the pickup trucks there. Like, they have a lot of trucks because the roads are so rough and with potholes and all the rain. And so when you would go to town, the speed limit's like 25 miles an hour all the time, everywhere, because you're just going along the edge of this island. So when you go to town, one or two people, usually the elderly, would get inside the cab of the truck, but everybody else would hop in the back of the pickup truck. And so you would ride to town and see the beautiful views of the ocean and all the greenery. My eyes hurt. It was so green there. It was crazy. There were leaves as bigger than this chair I'm sitting in. It was beautiful. All the flowers and the smells and the sounds, and so that was fun. The buses there are hilarious. They take the front of a pickup truck, the cab, and then they cut off the back, and they weld on a big like bus, like a mini bus, with bench seats in it. And so they paint them all bright colors, and it's kind of cool. If I can, I'll try to insert a picture of the bus here, but you could like hop on the bus for like 50 cents or $1 back then, ride to town, and $1 ride home. A lot of people didn't have cars. They just, their neighbors would take them places, or they hop on the bus, They have a bunch of little mini markets there where in front of the people's house, they have like a little like shed type building built, and they would sell canned foods and toilet paper and sugar, stuff like that. They didn't have like a bunch of big grocery stores. So a lot of times you'd shop every day for what you needed. you just. I usually just use like an arm's length of thread. I don't know how much that is. For the most part, I don't get knots. If I go any longer, I definitely get knots more often. But I hate having too short of a piece and having to stop and rethread my needle again and all that. So. And then I just run my thread underneath a few other stitches. I think this is the last green grass row I might do. I don't know. Changing up the pattern. So we only lived in Samoa for about a year, because not even a full year, because a month after we were there, I found out I was pregnant with my third child, and I had toxemia preeclampsia with my son Hunter. I was barely the beginning of my 7th month when I had him, so when I found out I was pregnant in Samoa, it kind of freaked me out because of all the medical stuff we had to deal with Hunter. And they told me that once you've had preeclampsia, that your chances of having it again are pretty high. And so I was scared to have a baby over there because they don't even have like intensive care there in Samoa. You had to go to Hawaii to have intensive care, medical services, and the flights are only twice a week to get off the island. So while I was there, I heard of like 3 women who passed away from having preeclampsia, toxemia. So it really scared me. And my the church we went to, there was a nurse there, and I told him about my situation and how I had preeclampsia with my son Hunter, and I had to deliver at the beginning of the 7th month, and his lungs weren't ready, and he had to go to the NICU for newborns, and he recommended that I go off island for the baby, not to stay there because they don't have the medical setup to take care of that, and or to diagnose it, or So about I think we stayed 3 more months, and then I by the time I was 5 months I left. We left and came back home because I didn't want to risk getting sick while we were there. And sure enough, I got preeclampsia with my son Wyatt, but luckily I was term, unlike Hunter. I was already term, so they just induced me, and I had Wyatt, and he didn't have any complications. He was ready to be born. So after that, I said, no more babies. 3 kids is enough. I want to be around to raise my kids. I don't want to get sick and pass away and not be here for the kids I have. So Wyatt was our last baby. And been back in Arizona ever since. I decided I'm a desert rat, and this is where I belong, and this is where I love, and I feel bad for my husband. Every now and then he gets to miss on the ocean, so he goes back to American Samoa to see his family quite often. He has 2 sisters that live there with their families, and now that his mom has passed, his parents are no longer there, but when he gets to missing them, I was gonna say wild bug. But when he gets to missing them and gets to missing the ocean, he goes back to visit. So it's crazy how much they charge for a ticket. A ticket to American Samoa is like $1,700 round trip. Super expensive, and that's why I worked for the airline. because then he could fly for a couple $100 standby, but I don't work for the airline anymore, so we'll see how it goes. All right, I've added 2 rows of green grass to this to kind of bring it closer to the bottom. Let me take a look at it and see if I think that's enough. I think that's enough. That's like 2 squares from the bottom. And I think the pattern calls for it to be just one. Yeah, just 1 square. Just 1 stitch from the bottom of that black border. But I'm thinking I might be able to live with just 2. I don't think I want to add more grass. But let me check it and see what I think. All right, let's see here. That's much better. It's not so far up. And then if I have the next, piece, the next section, I think that's okay. I don't know. I don't know if I want to add another row of grass or not. That's actually 3 rows from the bottom. Yeah, maybe I'll add 1 more line. I think I will. I think 2 rows, 2 stitches from the bottom is good because the pattern calls for it to be 1 stitch from the bottom. I think I'll just keep adding. Maybe I'll do 2. I don't know. Why not? Oh, do you guys do this? I hope I'm not the only one who does this. I'm a newbie, so how long am I allowed to say I'm a newbie for before I'm not a newbie anymore? I restarted the camera. It shuts off at 30 minutes, so I think I'm going to add another line, another row here to this. Halloween rules. I think I might just keep adding grass until I get to the 1 stitch away from the bottom like the pattern calls for. At least I left plenty of material at the bottom of this, so if it's a little longer than it's supposed to be, I'll still have plenty of fabric to finish with. I always cut out extra so I don't get stuck with not enough fabric. I learned that lesson on a pincushion I did. I didn't leave enough fabric and had a nightmare trying to finish it off. So on a little pillow I did during the COVID. So now I leave extra fabric. Not too much to where, I have these really extra pieces that are wasteful, but anyway, I think I might make some green chili pork for dinner tonight. I have a pork roast, and I think I'm going to throw it in an Instapot with some seasonings and a can of green chili sauce, shred it up, make burritos. Something easy and something that won't heat the house up too much. Seems like the air conditioning runs non-stop. And if you get the house hot, it's like you can't get the house cooled off. And I just use my floss down to a little teeny piece, and then it makes it really hard. So I don't know why I do that. All right. I've been doing a lot of shopping for Christmas online. I've already started because I like to buy for everybody, and it's whenever I see something good deal or on sale or something jumps out, like, oh, so and so would like this, I try to buy it, and then I just throw it in my bedroom in my closet. Hence why I need to go through my closet. Plus, I like to go through there and like make a list on my phone of all the gifts I bought and for who I bought them for. That way, as I get closer to Christmas, I know, like, oh, this person's finished, I got this and this, or, you know. We used to do a gift exchange for all the adults, but some of the family didn't want to do a gift exchange. So about half of us exchange gifts and the other half don't. But I like to buy for all my nieces and nephews that live here locally. And we all get together. I have a Christmas party, like usually the Saturday before Christmas. And I have games and prizes, and we all bring food, and then we have a gift exchange for give the kids all their gifts. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, my house is always open to any of my family who would like to come over. Sometimes we all get together Christmas Day, and sometimes we don't. Maybe only one sister and their family will come over, and then the other two sisters get together. They live by each other. It just depends. My mom and dad sometimes will go to other kids' houses, but they usually go where the little kids are. Now that I have grandkids, we kind of just stay home. They come over. But that's why I like to have that big extended family Christmas party the Saturday before Christmas, because then I can see everybody, because all the kids are growing up. All my nieces and nephews are growing up, getting married, having their own kids, and then they have to go, split their time between their in-laws and their parents' house. So it makes it hard for everybody to get together on Christmas Day. And it's a lot of work. I don't want to see them for just, 15 minutes when they pop in and then run to the other person's house. So I have that big Christmas party. I like to have parties. I like to use fun dishes and go all out, decorate. It's fun for me. I enjoy that. I love Halloween. I like to do a Halloween party every year. I have a Halloween party at my house, and everybody's invited, and I get dressed up, and we have food and decorate, and I'll take video this year of all the decorations. We get a lot of trick-or-treaters on our street, and our street really gets into it. Like down the street, the people turn their bottom of their house into a haunted house. They open up for people to walk through. They like go all out. It's crazy. My boys used to help them because they were friends with their son, and so my boys would help them, and they'd spend a couple weeks before Halloween, covering the walls and making pathways, and I never go through it because I'm scared. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't like, it's funny to say, but I don't like being scared, but I like Halloween. Go figure, right? I just got my Halloween costume in the mail, and I'm going to be one of the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. It's funny because I was going to be the redhead, right? And Winifred. And I got the dress. I ordered it online, and I got it and tried it on. It fits. But I was watching it with my son because it was on, I think it was on, was it Netflix or Disney Plus? I think it's on Disney Plus right now. So I turned it on with my grandson, and when he saw her, he kept saying, look, it's Grandma. Look, it's Grandma. I'm like, do I look like that? Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I'm like, how does he know that's who I'm going to be for Halloween? But he kept pointing at her saying, look, it's Grandma, and laughing. I'm like, it's not Grandma, and he would laugh. I'm like, are you serious? I look like Winifred? Wow. I look like Bette Midler with my teeth and my, I don't know, my hair. I must. He kept calling her Grandma and laughing. Little stinker. So funny. Kids are so funny. Like, they're just so brutally honest sometimes. So, I guess I did good in choosing her to portray for Halloween. It's 8 o'clock. This is a clock my grandfather made. My I turned the volume down as far as it will go without it being silent so it doesn't wake up everybody in the house. I like it. I never had a clock that chimed before, so I kind of enjoy it. It's fun. Well, I'm almost to the end of this row. And then I think I'm going to do another one. I don't know. I kind of like it with the thicker grass. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do it down to where it's supposed to be. Just leaving one row of stitches. And then once I finish this, like, I'll be done with the top free border. And then I'll move on I'll move on to one of the charts, the next chart that goes there. I count this as one completed project. Every chart that I finish, even if it's part of a bigger, like this has got several charts, right? All the Halloween rules. Each chart I consider a project. Like if I finish off a chart, like this top border is its own separate chart, that's a completion. I consider that a FO because it's one complete chart. And then the whole thing is a big project, but I consider each section its own chart. I don't know if that's wrong thinking, but that's how I kind of look at it. So when I have 23 projects done for the year, some of them, like Snow Village, I mean, that's 11 parts. That's 11 charts, separate charts. So that's how I count it. Some people might just count the Snow Village as one project, but one completion, but I count it as 11 because there's 11 separate charts in it. So that's how I do it. All right, one more row. Getting hungry. I didn't have any breakfast yet. I wanted to get in here and get the stitching going because once everybody starts waking up, Toy and Hunter, my husband's name is Totoy, Totoe, Totoy, but we call him Toy for short, which is just Toe, which is like toe in English. And every time we go somewhere, they call him Tuto or Toto. Poor guy, he never gets his name pronounced right. But we just call him Toy for short, like a toy you play with. But he's a night owl. He stays up late, and I can't stay up late. So he'll sleep in. I'm up early. He's disabled. He had a stroke. Oh geez, it's been maybe 5 or 6 years now. He was 50 years old, and he was um, at work. He used to do like cabling and network and build cabinets for um, like fiber and like for business databases and stuff. And he was at work and he was really active, guy, 50 years old. And he called me. I was at home. I was off of work that day. He called me and said that he wasn't feeling well. And while he was talking to me on the phone, we had kind of had the flu like that off and on that week. And I was at home. I had called in sick. I wasn't feeling well myself. But he called me and he told me he wasn't feeling well on the phone. And I said, well, why don't you just come home? And while we were talking, he had a stroke. His voice and speech started slurring, and I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I started freaking out. I was like, he stopped talking, and I told him, I'm like, if you can hear me, give your phone to somebody. If you can hear me, give your phone to somebody. And I felt like an eternity went by where he wasn't talking, but it probably wasn't very long in real life, actuality. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody take the phone, and a coworker said, "Hi, this is so and so, and I'm with your husband." I was worried because he was working in this huge, like, warehouse that was so big. I was worried that he might be in an area where nobody was at, because it was empty. It's going to be like an Apple type warehouse, and it was ginormous. But luckily, there was a guy there and working near him, and so he took the phone and he said, "I've already called for an ambulance, and I'm with your husband right now. I think he's had a stroke." And luckily, the guy that was working with him, he used to be like an EMT, I guess, so he kind of had some medical training, and got him to the hospital right away, and got him some medicine or whatever, and luckily his stroke didn't fully, his left side he can't do like fine motor skill stuff, but he can take care of himself and, do everything. His left hand and foot like lost sensation, and he can't do like fine motor skill stuff with it, but luckily it wasn't worse than that, So he's Mr. Mom. He does laundry and cooks and cleans, and I do real estate. So that's kind of how it goes right now. Right now, we're not doing much of anything with COVID. It's so weird. I don't know. I thought we would be through with this by now. It's just taking forever and scary. But enough of that. So, as I was saying, I like to get up, and since I wake up early and the house is quiet, I like to get my stitching time in before all the hustle and bustle of the day starts. Hunter, he works for the airline. He works in the shipping and receiving department, and he works, I guess, a swing shift. He works like 2 o'clock to 2 to 10 p.m. So he sleeps in the morning as well, because he doesn't start work till later. All my kids and my husband are all late night people. I'm the only one that's like a early bird, so they all laugh when I go to bed by 8 o'clock. But then I'm up like 5 or 6 in the morning, so to each his own, right? back to the Halloween parties, we also had music. Like we do DJ, right? So we have big speakers, so we turn on the music and we just leave the front door kind of open. So when kids come trick or treating, it's so funny. Some of them will dance right there at the door, and just a lot of fun. I usually try to do like themes. Like one year we were all pirates. One year we did superheroes. But I don't know how my husband could be matching with the theme I'm doing this year. I thought about having him be in the Hocus Pocus at the zombie guy that they rise from the dead or whatever, but he's kind of scary looking. I don't want to scare my grandkids with too scary of an outfit for my husband, so maybe I could just get him a wig and tattered clothes and not make his face too scary, to kind of represent that guy, that zombie guy in the show. We'll see. But if you have any knowledge on the higher count fabrics, will you clue me in, please? Let me know. Is it always over 2 threads? And then if you stitch with 1 or 2 floss strands, I know that's probably just based on what you like for coverage, right? But do you stitch over 2 threads on 40 count, 36 count, or just 1 thread? Does it depend on the project? Is it personal preference? I can't imagine stitching over 1 on 40 count. I think I've heard people doing that, but I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon. Looks hard. Alright, I think I'm on my last row here. Oh shoot. I wasn't supposed to do this row. I think I just did it all the way, talking away. Oh, see, even when I mess up, and I try to fix it, I mess it up again. Oh well. Like seriously, I didn't skip the spot. Do I pick it out? Oh, because I'm supposed to leave one row. Well, now I'm going to have to look at that next pattern and see if it's going to matter. Seriously? I can't believe I did that. Killing me. Can't believe I did that. I added so many rows and now I have a row too many. It probably wouldn't be too hard to pull out that row because... Oh no, wait, maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm off on my count, and that's why. Because I got a row over here. See, I got 1 extra spot. But when I come over here, it lines up. So that tells me that this is the part that's off. So I'll probably just pick that off, add 1 more square. That's what I'll do. Okay, because I'm like, how did I mess that up? How could I have done that? I was like, I've lost my mind. See, I told you I messed up the whole top. It's such a mess. We're going to make it work, because I am not going to rip out all of this stuff. I don't care. I don't care to do that. Nobody who doesn't stitch is going to know. My kids aren't going to know. All my sisters and friends and family, they come over, they're not going to know what it's supposed to look like, so... I don't think Lizzie Kate's going to be visiting my house anytime soon. So, there you go. And of course I have like 6 squares left and I need some more floss. One time I was stitching, I'm sure this happens to you too, I had literally 2 squares left, and I ran out of floss, and I had to get another piece out. It's like, are you serious right now? And then Thanksgiving, my sister usually hosts Thanksgiving. She has really nice property that has a few acres, and the weather is so beautiful here in November that we sit outside. We put tables outside and sit outside, and so she'll usually host Thanksgiving, and she likes to host Thanksgiving, and then her grass will be all green and pretty and nice. She does a winter lawn. And then I usually do Christmas Day. But now that her kids go to their in-laws and she has to share the day with them, it's hard for her to come over on Christmas Day. So that's why I do the Christmas party. So I host a Christmas party the Saturday before Christmas, and then she hosts Thanksgiving. And we go over there. So that works out nice. Love that arrangement. I love Thanksgiving, but I hate hosting it. So it's like a lot of work for the one meal, feels like. I don't know. I've hosted it a few times. We've traded, but then she kind of doesn't like hosting the Christmas party. She prefers hosting Thanksgiving, so it works out. And the sister I'm talking about is Christy, the one I showed in my video on Sunday. She's right next to me. I'm the eldest, and then Christy's next, and then Tara, who's learning to cross stitch, and then Carrie, who does my hair, and then we have my brother Ben. He's the baby and the only boy. 4 girls and a boy. My parents had all of us in Arizona, and then when we lived in Utah, when they had my brother, so they always make a joke and say they got a boy by living in California. It was a water, which is kind of funny. But like we said, born and raised here in Arizona mainly. All right, I finished off that row, and I'm happy that it's the side that's off and not the whole row of greenery, because I wanted to leave one row. So, okay. On the pattern, this is too high. There's only supposed to be 4. My battery pack died, and I'm not sure how much conversation I lost. So I'm hoping not too much. I'm finished stitching the Halloween rules, the top of the pattern, the free border on the top, and I mentioned earlier that I mentioned earlier that I had done this wrong, counting wrong, so it was a lot higher. So I had to add a few rows of greenery to the bottom, and there's supposed to be 1 row of stitches between this corner and the grass. So I added I added rows of greenery to bring it down to that. Then when I got over here, it lined up. So I had thought that I had done too many rows, but in reality, this is missing a square to be lower. So I'm going to pick out this black right here and add 1 more row, so there's 1 row of stitching underneath this green grass like they're supposed to be. So keep having to correct the mistakes and find them and try to work it out, but at least I don't have to pick out this whole green row like I thought. I just need to pick out this small section and add a row of black. Add 1 more square of black. So that's not too bad. And then this top will be finished. I I hope you enjoyed our stitching time today. It's been an hour, and I like to keep the videos about an hour, and I'm sorry if I jumped all over the place with my stories and stitching, kind of lose track of what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I'm scatterbrained like that anyway. But I hope you have a great day or you have a great evening, whatever time it is, and thanks for stitching with me. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.